Yo, what's going on? It's the NOC, the Nerds of Color, and we are back with another ShoPowSho. It's your boy, Kuya P, the Babinka boy, the Adobro, the leader of the Holla Holla homies in the center, gang. You know how we do. And of course, I can't do this without the amazing Ates. However, we're missing one. So shout out to Kataphorric. We know you're busy today, but we're going to power through with you, for you, but we miss you and we love you. So let me introduce Miss Viva Valentina. What's up, girl?
Hey everyone. What's up, Kuya P?
I'm good. I'm excited, man. We have, we love Pixar. We love
Yes.
Pixar.
Yes, this is a good one.
Who dropped who I had the pleasure of meeting when Pixar Shorts was launching at Pixar Studios. The man behind Float, he has been representing for the community. He's got an amazing project that's gonna shine when he can't put it out, called Neighborhood Legend. I can't wait for everybody to see that. I can't wait to see that. So let's have some fun with a superstar, the leader of the Pix Noise, I'd like to say, Mr. Bobby Rubio. Air horns.
Hey, hi Kuya P and hi Tina. It's great to be here. So thank you for having me.
Hey man,
thanks for joining us.
Heck yeah, and representing San Diego, we share
yes, of course,
hometown.
San Diego, go Padres.
Yes. So man, it's honestly a pleasure, man. It's great to see you again, and I hope you and your family have been safe and good during this pandemic time that we're all experiencing. Truly a pleasure to see you again, brother.
Yeah, it was great. Like Kuya P again. Like we met at Pixar, so it's great to see you again. And hopefully, I wish this was live, us hanging out versus on Zoom, but this will have to do for now. I know we could have went to San Diego. I saw that you would have interviews and have food, like, and I was like, oh, I gotta get in on that. We gotta like have a spread. Like,
we're gonna make that happen. Post-pandemic, we're gonna make that happen. We're gonna get all the food and all the munchies, and we're gonna have fun.
Nice.
Yeah, we got trips planned, some trips.
Oh, awesome.
Definitely. So I'm gonna toss it to Miss Viva Valentina for our first question out the gate. Let's go.
Yes. So we always like to start it off because we gotta know, where are you from? But like, where are you really from? And like, where are your parents from?
Oh, okay. My mom is from Manila and my dad is from Ilocos Norte. And but my dad was in the Navy and he met my mom in San Diego and they got married. And then 9 months later, I was born in Balboa Hospital in San Diego. So born and raised in San Diego.
Oh, small world. So was I. I was born at Balboa Hospital. That's great.
Oh, nice. I think a lot of Filipinos were born in Balboa Hospital.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
We're all from Balboa Hospital.
There we go. So before we get more on you and to continue on with Tina's question, because I like to say, and I know from my daughter, and I know you have kids as well, we're the personification of their hopes and dreams. Can you tell us a little bit about what you know of your parents' love story?
I know very little. My dad was very quiet about it. But I do know he is an artist, and I'll share you this one really crazy story. Is that I was at Burbank in church one day, and this old lady was staring at me really hard. And I go up to her afterwards, and I'm like, "Hi, can I help you with something?" And she said, "Are you Robert Rubio's son?" And I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "I'm his ex-girlfriend from the Philippines."
Whoa!
And I was like, oh, I mean, I look like my father. So
Yeah.
I don't know what my dad's done in the past, but
That's awesome.
It was really awkward and weird to be in church getting stared at by an old lady. Like,
that's so funny.
It's not good. It's not good.
What did I do?
Yeah.
So did she didn't say anything she didn't like do negative or go out of left field, did she? Or was she just like, oh, okay, just
Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay.
And then she stalked me, which I like really had to say, you really got to stop stalking me. No, I'm kidding. That didn't happen. No, she was really nice. Okay. I think she invited me to a party, but I quickly declined because it was awkward.
Yeah.
I'm Filipino, like, oh, come back to the
party.
Yeah.
So
a little nugget there. So you're a junior? Are you Robert Rubio Jr.?
No, but I am officially Bobby Rubio, because my mother didn't want me to be a junior. And so the compromise is Bobby Rubio. So
good.
Nice compromise.
Great nugget there. I like that. Okay. So tell me about growing up as a youngster in San Diego. What was it like? With your family, and just growing up there, and then I'll go to another part. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So born and raised in San Diego, and I was in the Paradise Hills community. And so I went to Robert E. Lee Elementary. Of course, they changed that name to something else. I forgot now, but I wish they turned it to Bruce Lee Elementary. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
That would have been an easy switch, right?
Yeah, right. You could still keep it Lee. Why? So I went to Lee Elementary. Then I went to Bell Junior High, and then Morse High School, where a lot of Filipinos went. So shout out to the Morse Tigers and the Bell Trojans. Yeah. And to Paradise Hills. That's home to me. I mean, Paradise Hills is a very diverse community. It's it's made up of Filipinos, Mexicans, and African Americans, mainly. I mean, if you look through my yearbook, that's mainly what it was. And so I grew up, I feel like being an American, especially in San Diego, you get a mix of all the cultures that you were raised in. Mm-hmm. So like, I love hip hop because I'm from my African American friends. I love tacos. I love Mexican food.
Yeah.
I need hot fries.
Yeah, right. And San Diego has the best Mexican food. And as the further away you get away from Mexico, it gets worse.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So I'm up in Oakland. I'm like, it's just not the same, man.
Yeah.
Not the same. And so, I had a very diverse upbringing. Okay. Used to play out in the streets with my friends. We pretended we were the San Diego Chargers. Played street football. Loved going to the San Diego Comic-Con. I think that probably was a big influence on my life, because I mean, every year there's the San Diego Comic-Con, and we all looked up to comic book artists and comic book things. And I think that's what I wanted to be originally when I was growing up. I wanted to be a comic book artist.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Yeah. So, and I was trying to be a comic book artist. I told my mom I wanted to go to New York for college. I wanted to go to the Joe Kubert School.
I was getting ready to say that. Joe Kubert.
Yeah.
What's that? Yep.
I wanted to go there, but my mom was like, "No way are you going to New York. You are staying in California." So the next best thing was there's a school that was founded by Walt Disney, which is Cal Arts. And I was like, okay, let's try animation, because I still wanted to draw. Yeah. I wasn't really into animation yet, though. But when I went to Cal Arts for 3 years, I fell in love with it. And I graduated with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in animation. And my first internship after Cal Arts was I had 2 internships, and it was funny. I had one with Jim Lee for Homage Studios because I wanted to still pursue my comic book dreams.
That's dope.
And then, yeah, and he was in Mira Mesa at the time. Eventually, he went to La Jolla. At least Homage Studios went to La Jolla.
Yeah.
But so I was with Jim Lee first. I believe that was my summer internship, and then my fall internship was Walt Disney Feature Animation in Florida, and we were working on, I believe, Mulan at the time, and either Mulan or Lilo and Stitch, one of the others. It's been so long ago.
So how was your mom to let you go out to Florida if they didn't want you to go outside Cali, right?
I know. Well, I guess yeah, because she had no choice by then. Because and also, I think also, you know, I'm the firstborn, and my mom like really didn't want me to go away. And like, here's her 19-year-old son going off to New York. She's like, no way. But you know, by the time I graduated, I must have been 21, 22. So, you know, she's probably like, okay, let me focus on my next two sons and coddle them. And so she let me go off to Florida. But when I was in Florida, so they offered me a gig to start at Disney, and I had to go back. I actually went to Jim Lee himself, and I was like, hey, Jim, they offered me a job. I could either come back and do comics, which I want to do, or do animation. And Jim, this was 1994, and this was when Marvel bankrupt, and the comic industry pretty much was bankrupt.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? If I were you, I would go to Disney.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to Disney.
Yeah.
Like I swear, if the comic industry did not tank, it did not you know, go bankrupt, I would probably still be a comic book artist. I would probably be just focusing on that.
Wow.
Yeah.
But destiny called, and and destiny changed, so that's why I went over to animation.
Okay.
And look at that, like a phoenix, it rose from the ashes.
I know, right? Like, it's crazy because like it's funny because I remember going like, oh man, Marvel bankrupt, and then you hear like Toy Biz bought them, something like that. And then
wasn't Jim still at Image at this point? Was he still Homage, or did they become Wildstorm at that point? At
that point, it was the Homage. Homage is the studio, which had Will Spartacio and Mark Silvestri.
Yeah.
And Top Cow was there too as well.
Yeah.
So I was hanging out with those guys. And it was funny because too, when I first got there, this was still, it wasn't the bankrupt times. It was still the tail end of, we're making all this money.
Yeah.
They were making millions.
Yeah.
Those books, comic books were selling in the millions.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was funny. I still remember Mark Silvestri buying a brand new Dodge Viper, and we all went down to go check it out. And we were like, oh my God. Like, I swear if the comic industry didn't burst, I would still be in the comics. It'd be so nuts.
Yeah.
And so that was Homage Studios comprises those three artists and their so Wildstorm was Jim's.
Yeah.
And I was part of Wildstorm. I was
okay. So that's what I figured.
Oh, that's what you're getting at. Yeah, I was recruited by Wildstorm. The funny thing is, I still remember me and I was there, and J. Scott Campbell was there, and Travis Charest was there. We were on the Wildstorm side, and then my buddy Billy Tan and Joe Benitez were on the Top Cow side. And I remember me and Billy Tan would argue who's better, Jim Lee or Mark Silvestri. And I'm like,
oh, that's a good one. They both have their own strengths.
No, they do have their own strengths. It's funny. I see that now, but at the time, I was like, man, nah, Jim.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a Jim guy. I'm a Jim guy all day, every day. But Mark, yeah, we could debate comic. You know what? Actually, let me take it back a little bit. I want to take it back since we kind of advanced out. So going back to the school period, and what were some of your inspirations? Because like you said, you wanted to become a comic artist. What was it about? What was it? Can you recall like the first comics you got into, or some of the first artists that inspired you?
Yeah, I loved. My favorite comic book artist is George Perez. And he drew the New Teen Titans. And the funny thing is, I thought he was Filipino.
Same,
because he had
I did too at one point.
Because he has a Spanish name and it's weird. Like, I guess I assumed, hey, he must be Filipino. But Romeo Tanghal is Filipino, and Romeo Tanghal is the inker of the New Teen Titans. And I did not know that. It's funny. I thought George was, but the inker was.
Yeah.
And so
I totally see that. I've seen George, like, he's always wearing his Hawaiian shirts at dragons, running around.
Yeah, he's the sweetest guy. I met him at Comic-Con, and I was starstruck. I don't get starstruck. I never, especially comic book people. I don't. Like with Jim Lee, no, I was like, hey, Jim. but George Perez, since he was an idol of mine, I was just, I remember I was with my brother, Ronald. We were at the Comic-Con, and I'm like, it's George Perez, man. And he's like, go talk to him. I'm like, no, man, it's George Perez.
Yeah, man. There's certain people that kind of have that we idol and that have inspired us. That they have kind of, you feel that way. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
The funny thing is too, I will tell this story, is that I was so much into the Titans, and I also like John Byrne too as well.
Oh yeah.
And the X-Men, but I like George Perez so much more, and I almost want to kick myself for this. But I remember I didn't have a lot of money, but I would trade some of my comics to get New Teen Titan comics, and I traded some X-Men for New Teen Titan comics.
Byrne X-Men too? The early Byrne appearance X-Men? Yes,
like an idiot. Like I was like, I know one's worth more than the other.
Exactly.
But I think at the time I might have been like, well, you got to give me 3 New Teen Titans for this one X-Men, you know? So, but I didn't have any money at the time, and maybe I should go back and buy those Burn Pit books. Anyways,
I love it. What else? Again, I want to also talk about because I've been following you and for a while. I love some of your Instagram posts where you kind of do some renditions of just personal experiences in the past.
Oh, thanks.
And going to the arcade and just all that kind of stuff. What are, beyond just the comics, what are other things that have that you think would inspire your art? Like what other influences, like whether it be film or gaming, what are some other influences that helped inspire you in your youth?
Sure.
Where were you a nerd?
Huh? I mean, I was all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I was like, I loved animation. Japanese animation was huge, especially when I was a kid. I loved Transformers, Robotech, G.I. Joe, and I think I liked that more than I actually liked Disney, because Disney was doing Little Mermaid at the time, and I was like, nah, it's G.I. Joe and Transformers.
That.
Huh?
The Target demo for Little Mermaid, but G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I'm not. I am not. So I lean towards more Japanese animation, and this was back when it was VHSs, so there wasn't DVDs yet, and so I was trying to consume all that, like Japanese animation wherever I could get it. Like I remember, was it like Bubblegum Crisis, all those 1980s stuff, 1980s Lupin, the Miyazaki stuff. I think animation wise, it's that stuff. The Japanese animation really influenced me. Also, I think because Japanese animation is has more action and like has more adult themes. It's not really just G rated. A lot of it's PG. So that I loved. I loved movies, music. Like I said, I was into hip hop. And it's funny because I was more into hip hop and Michael Jackson and pop. My wife, who eventually became my wife, she was more into new wave, like Duran Duran. And,
like
and so, but she influenced me. So I kind of like it all. I think that's some of the earliest stuff that influenced me. Definitely Japanese animation. If it pertaining to my artwork, it's definitely Japanese.
So what would your parents tell us about you at this age in time, like prior to high school and everything? What is something you and also you might be afraid of them to tell us?
Of course, I'm not gonna tell you that stuff. But,
I tried.
But I think the beauty of it is like when we talk about my mom, and she was very encouraging about my art. I know a lot of Filipinos moms aren't.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
She didn't want you to go to New York for art school, but she was okay with you going to art school.
Yes. And she was encouraging of it because I think she knew, ever since I was a little kid, I was kind of above average as an artist. And I think she knew, I think even teachers pulled her aside and say, I think Bobby's super talented and he's got, I mean, I'm not trying to brag or anything. It actually did happen because I when I was younger, I was pulled out of my classrooms to go to art classes with older kids.
So like gospel type stuff?
Just like I'm thinking elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like being pulled out and like being taught how to draw, shapes and it was more like life drawing and stuff like that. But it wasn't so. And that's where higher level stuff especially for a kid in 5th and 6th grade. And also when I was in 6th grade, my teacher, Mr. Edwards, was also very encouraging. He let us draw our own comic books in school. And that was a big jump for me because he made me feel that I could tell my stories.
Dope.
And then I created a superhero called the Charger. And he's based off, I named him Robert Rubio after my dad.
No.
And my dad was an electrician.
Oh my gosh. Perfect.
I know.
That's cool. Yeah.
So the origin was like this crazy mystical lightning hit this. My dad was at like an engine room and it hit this engine and it sparked magic lightning on him and he got lightning powers.
I love that.
And the funny thing is, you know how there's like the who's who or the Marvel universe where you could put the stats.
Oh yeah. I love those books. Those are classic.
Yeah. I said my superhero is 5'7" because I thought that was tall at the time. I was like, hey Dad, how tall are you? Oh, 5'7". That sounds good. 5'7". This guy's gonna be super awesome and tall. 5'7". How much do you weigh? Like 115, 125? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna.
That's great. So super heroic at 5'7".
Hey, representation matters, right?
Exactly.
I mean, hey, wait, but Wolverine's probably 5'7", right? 5'5"?
No.
Yeah. He's a shorty.
He's super short.
Yeah.
5'2"?
So isn't Wolverine like 5?
I have to look that up, but he's short. So
yeah, he's like 5'2", 5'3", right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought he was 5'2".
Yeah. So oh man. So oh my gosh, my mind is going blank.
we're like, really? How tall is he?
Going through like the Encyclopedia Marvel, trying to like figure out, oh, it's this size. I remember this, So like, yeah, the nerd brain is like overpowering at the moment. Bobby, also at this time, in regards to you said you grew up around a mix of cultures. When did you discover you were Filipino? Like, what kind of Filipino activities or what did you learn about our culture also at this age? Well, with your parents both being Filipino, and our community.
Right. Well, my parents, I think what's funny is like, I think they didn't make me speak Tagalog, and I think because they wanted us to be Americanized, which I could understand.
Yeah. Because
in the 70s, they got teased and they got bashed on, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, I even saw it. I even witnessed it. So I'm sure that's probably why like you're going to speak perfect English. And, I wish that they did teach me, but I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I went to Filipino parties. So of course, you see Tanikling and you hear the Filipino music and see the delicious Filipino food. So that when I went to Filipino parties, but the funny thing is my dad wasn't really that social, so it was kind of rare when I did. But I guess I knew. I will admit, like in my high school days, I know I was Filipino. I'll be ashamed, but I used to tease the Filipinos that had accents.
Yeah.
We were like, fob, get the hell, fob. I mean, I knew what it meant.
Yeah.
And I'm ashamed that I did. And I'm probably, that's probably, middle school.
Yeah.
Middle school. And so, but it is weird growing up Filipino because
there's a lot of self-hate. One of the last interviews I did, and it's important we talk on this to face it and also show that you can as we grow older, we can realize things are wrong. And then now it's all about teaching the next generation, about that. Yeah.
That's also part of like how, we're doing this podcast now and like finding pride in our culture.
Right.
Because like our experiences were super different. Me and Kuya P, when us being mestizos,
right.
Having disconnects from our culture and things like that. So I understand.
Right. And yeah, so like being mestizas, like I know you probably got it from both sides.
Oh yeah.
So like
yeah.
Either one or the other. Like you're either not enough of one or not enough of the other.
Right. I mean, I got that too, in a way, yeah, we all got that from the uncles. Do you speak Tagalog? No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're not Filipino enough. So
yeah, I was wearing I have a Filipino jacket. I remember wearing it to a family party, and my aunt was like, "Ha ha ha! You don't even speak Tagalog," and I'm like, "Yeah,
right.
You're
right." Right. Yeah, we got to change that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I think and be proud of it because we're Filipino American, so there's that American part. Okay.
Yes, and that's what's crazy is and something that we've touched on a bunch of different episodes was like you can be full-blooded Filipino, but you still feel that imposter syndrome when it comes to like all the different shades of Filipino American that you can be.
Right.
And welcome to the ShoPowSho. We are taking it apart and staring it in the face. So again, that's another experience of that Filipino Americanness.
Yeah. And it's all valid. It's all good.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think it's funny. I always thought it was my grandmas and my aunties that were so cold. but I guess it's still going on. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's changing with more Filipino representation in media?
Yes, I do. And I also think, I'd like to think that by the time my kids and your kids are grown up, that it's not even a thing, you know? Because my kids, their parents don't even, I mean, I don't speak Tagalog, so I won't even bash them for that. I'll be like, you don't speak Tagalog? I don't speak it either.
You're not Filipino. I'm not Filipino.
I'm not Filipino enough either.
Who's Filipino here?
But I think that yes, with representation, that will change, because then you'll finally see Filipino Americans and our lives and what we have to offer. That's one of the things that was kind of cool I felt about Float, is that I didn't have like a ton of Filipino stuff in it, and like,
but it was very Filipino without it, because your upbringing, you brought, there's so much in there, but I'm sorry.
Because I did get bashed for it. People were like, "Where's the tinickling? Where's the food?" I'm like, well, that's not what the story's about. But I think, wouldn't it be awesome? We'd be in a world where the father and son just happen to be Filipino.
Yes.
Like if you actually, I know if the actors and actresses were vying for a spot that said father and son, wouldn't it be awesome if it didn't say looking for white father and son? You could just go. We didn't care. It was, you're Filipino, that's fine. That's they just happen to be Filipino. And I am trying to push my Filipino American stories so that people like us can see ourselves. I don't speak Tagalog. I also feel ashamed for calling fobs back in the day. There is a self-hate in me. There is an imposter syndrome in me. And so, I want people to know that. And, it's all good. I think it shows we have a shared story.
Exactly.
Shared humanity. So
always. It's that shared story, and that you're valid in that.
Yes.
And that we can grow. Yeah, there's growth there,
Yes.
all the way through.
Yeah. I mean, that's our history, right? Like, I mean,
exactly.
We're part of that history, and we're, you cannot, we come from the Philippines. Yeah. But if you're going to track, let's say Float, you have to go all the way back to the Philippines, to my parents, and then to now, and these characters up on the screen. And there's a Filipino mug on there.
Yes.
There's Filipino features on that character, but that character speaking English. And but I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, Filipino American giants, and Filipinos too as well. So
definitely,
I am grateful for all that came before me, and I hope that I'm blazing a trail for the next generation.
Indeed, absolutely. You are, sir. Yeah. Indeed, you are, and we thank you for that. So let's start back at the beginning of your journey. I thank you for allowing me to go back to get some of those influences and get some of the other deep dive parts of your past, man. That's great. So you're in Florida. You decided to go to Animation Right. You talked to Jim. Yeah, this comic bubble isn't good. It's gonna blow up. We're gonna do this art thing.
Get out now.
Get out now.
So where do we go from Florida, and you're proceeding from there in your story?
I go to Disney. I then decide to go back to Burbank. They asked me to stay in Florida, but I had a girlfriend in San Diego, and I was like, no, I'm going back. I'm going back to Cali.
Long distance relationships are hard, right? You like,
I gotta go back to Cali. No way am I staying here.
So how long were you gone in Florida? How long did you stay?
Oh, it was only an internship. I believe it was like 3 months.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, went back to California, got an internship at Disney, started on Pocahontas as a cleanup artist. Then I worked my way to Rough in Betweener on Hunchback of Notre Dame. Worked on that, Mulan, Hercules, all the while trying to be an animator. I finally make traditional animator on Treasure Planet, and I animated on Jim Hawkins. And then the 2D animation bubble burst.
So what was that journey like for you before the bubble burst in regards to your craft and the learning experience? So I'm assuming you were trying to go the comic book route, learning how to do sequential pages and all that. And then to get into animation, it's a different type of, a different art form.
It's a total.
I have a lot of friends in, all these fields like you do as well. And it's different. So all of a sudden, if this 2D blows up, you're going to have to learn something different with your craft.
Yeah.
What would be a lesson learned that we could, at this point, that we could pause for a moment and tell to a young animator that is listening to your story right now? What was one of the biggest lessons that you learned from all this growth and getting into your career?
I guess as long as you have a solid draftsmanship skills and you could tell a story, which that's comics, it also translates elsewhere. It translates to animation and it translates into storyboards. It's an easy transition from comic books to storyboards.
Okay.
But I guess, all I'm saying is if you have a solid background in art, you're going to be fine because it translates elsewhere. You don't have to be stuck in comic books. You can go into animation or vice versa, go back to comics. And I think also I saw this quote and I thought it was awesome. Don't attach yourself to a place or company. Attach yourself to a cause. I feel that. You won't ever feel bad. So I could leave Disney, I could leave Pixar, and as long as I'm still doing what I truly still believe in, as long as I'm still telling Filipino stories and I'm still telling stories that I feel are strong, it doesn't really matter. I don't have to feel bad when I leave. I think that's what happened when I first left Disney. I thought, honestly, when I was a Disney traditional animation, it's a good segue into this. I thought I was going to be a Disney traditional animator for the rest of my life. Because like, all right, I finally made it. I'm on Treasure Planet. I just animated. I'm an animator now.
Yeah.
And then 2D died because of this place called Pixar.
And you're wearing their colors on your shirt.
I know. At the time, I would have been like, because a buddy of mine, my buddy Ricky Nierva, was up there at Nickelodeon, was at Pixar, and he came down to Disney. I was working on Treasure Planet, and he was like, "Hey man, you're gonna love this. We're working on this thing called we're working on this superhero thing. I can't tell you any more than that, but working on this superhero thing." And of course, it became Incredibles, and I'm like, when I saw it, I was so jealous of it. I was like, oh my God, I work on Incredibles. I want to work on
superheroes.
yeah. So, but where was I? Well, this is like off in a tangent. Where was I?
You thought you were going to be a traditional animator for the rest of your life.
Oh, right. Yeah, I thought I was going to be a traditional animator for the rest of my life. Yeah. But of course, that didn't happen. I got fired and actually let go. Is that the same thing? Like fired? No, fired is if you did something bad. Right. I got let go because this was like 2D was dying, and now it's time to move on. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was the end of my career. That's it. And my brother, which brings me to another point, my brother was like, "Hey man, I know it sucks. and I know you think yourself as a Disney guy, because I did. But he's like, there's this place at Nickelodeon. And I was like, SpongeBob? Like, he's like, yeah, man, hear me out. They're doing this American anime. And you love anime. You know, you love all that stuff. And you should go check it out. And I was like, oh, man, this is SpongeBob and Dora. I don't want to do that. But I go over and I meet Mike Kanetsko and Brian. Mike and Brian, the creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Again, see, I thought my career was over.
Yeah.
I thought I was a Disney guy, and I was like, I go over here and I'm like Nickelodeon, and then I see Avatar, and I see what they're gonna do, and I was like, this is awesome. I want to be part of this because I saw everything that inspired me was on their walls. It was like Cowboy Bebop, was all the Miyazaki stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then they showed me the pilot, and I was like, yeah, man, count me in. I want to be part of this. And so yeah, it goes back to don't attach yourself to a company or a place. You're gonna be fine. So
awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. That's wonderful.
That's what I would say up to
okay.
advice.
So 2D animation, you find yourself at Nickelodeon. What brought you to Pixar?
Yeah, now I'm thinking like, okay, so Pixar came in, 2D animation was out. You found it back at Nickelodeon with Avatar.
Yeah.
So how did you get? How did Pixar get you then?
Okay, we always knew it was going to be a 3-book, 3-season. And I had a friend there who was like, you always have to prepare and jump ship before the ship sinks.
Exactly.
Wise words.
That's
Self-preservation.
That's kind of messed up, right?
That's kind of the theme I'm seeing here. Lee, and then
I know, right? But you know what? That didn't sink. Avatar did not sink. They went on to do amazing Korra afterwards, and it was difficult because like I really loved that crew and I loved the project, but I knew it was going to be over. And funny thing was, a buddy of mine at Pixar came to the Comic-Con and he was like, hey man, you still want to be a story artist? You still want to come up to Pixar? I was like, yeah, man, I want to do that. So I tried out actually for Ratatouille. I didn't get it. I didn't get it the first time. And yeah. So like a few months passed afterwards and there was another test and I went for it again. And I did pass this time. And the funny thing is, I heard the rumor was that there was 2 projects happening on at Pixar at the time. One was about robots. And I was like, oh man, that's fucking, I got to work on the robot one. And the other one was about a Boy Scout and an old man. And I was like, I hope I get the robot one. I didn't get on the robot one. I got on the one with the old man and Boy Scout.
Still good.
Yeah, no, it is good. And I got to work with Ronnie Del Carmen, who was the head of story. He was the head of story of Up. And I found out it was he brought me in. He liked my stuff. And I got to work with the legendary Ronnie Del Carmen,
who I would love to get on a future episode. I've reached out to him as well. Filipino legend in animation. I'd love to get him. So hopefully in the future, another show, pal. Ronnie, yeah, that's amazing. So how was that working with him? Taking under, did he take you under his wing a little bit?
He did a little bit. It's amazing. because I looked up to Ronnie.
Yeah.
I bought his comic books, and he was on Batman, the animated series, and he just did Nemo.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this guy he's like a god to me, and he's
Yeah.
Filipino.
Yeah.
Which added to it. And so yeah, I think I learned more by watching his approach, and every now and then he would talk to me and tell me about his experiences. So I mean, I cherish those moments always. So
love it.
Yeah, Ronnie's the man. And then, you know, being at Pixar, you get to meet all the other Pix Noise.
So what did Pix Noise? Who started Pix Noise? I got to know that.
Oh, okay. That is Marlon Castro.
Okay.
He's our security guy. And he started it with Ricky Nierva. Both of them were like, I think there was only a handful. There's only probably like 5, he said, at the time. I believe Marlon went up to Ricky and says, we should start like a Filipino club of some sort. And he actually coined the name Pixnoy.
Awesome.
Marlon came up with Pixnoy. And so they started it. And that was the Nemo days, or even Monsters. I think even the Monster Incorporated days, like the early days.
Okay.
I didn't get there, obviously, like I said, until Up. So it's a long time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and we've grown since.
Yeah.
Pixnoy is not just artists; it's also all branches of the studio. So we have managers, we have chefs, we have security guards, people in tech. So it's another thing I want to point out to your audience is that, you know, if you want to join Pixar, you don't have to just be an artist. There's other paths to get there.
So cool.
And that's another thing that I also want to say about our culture and us Filipinos too, is that we are everything. Like, we're not just nurses and mailmen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doctors.
We're a lot of that, but we're more than that too.
We're more than that too. They're more than that too. I try to make that effort every now and then. Pixar goes, it's a beautiful thing. We go to the hospitals, the local hospital, and we draw for the children, especially when our films are, for our films, we try to premiere them in the hospitals and show them to them. And I try to make an effort every time when I can, because I want the children to see that we're also artists too. But also, I also want to praise the nurses and doctors that are Filipino in the hospidals. I mean, we look at each other like, "Hey, you're Filipino? Ah, me too."
Yeah, that's how we are.
Yeah, and you know, our healthcare workers are doing so much for us, and you know, especially during this COVID times.
Yeah,
you know, you definitely have to show respect to them and for all that they do. So
definitely.
Yeah.
So next phase, before I get to a specific big project, you know, that kind of really put you out there. You moved back. You were working in animation, but the key thing, as we kind of said earlier, your girlfriend.
Right.
When did you? You're back, and then you got married. Like, so when did you get married in between all this time, and then having kids?
Yeah. The funny thing is, my wife is my high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, there is no way I'm going to our 10th year anniversary, our 10-year reunion, and not even be engaged. You know? I was like, it's gonna look fine. It's fine. Come on. But I did propose to her before our 10-year reunion. I'm not sure. Did we get no? But we got married soon after.
Okay.
So my wife Susan, she had a job. It's awesome. She came up to LA. She worked on the Lion King theatrical run.
Oh.
That was huge. So she was actually in a theatrical part. She also worked at CNN a little bit, and I was doing animation at Disney.
Awesome.
And then eventually Nickelodeon. So
awesome. Did being, having a partner to me influences everything I do. Having a husband, having a wife, a partner, in every different way. How did that influence your art or your style or just the way you do things, and then leading into then having kids, which which will bring me to obviously Float.
Right.
So what was that like in regards to that?
My wife is very supportive. She was awesome, because here I am telling her, okay, we're going to leave all that we know in Southern California. And my wife, when we went to Pixar, she was pregnant with twins. And I'm like, yeah, but it's Pixar. Fun. It's going to be awesome. I know you're pregnant with twins and we have a newborn baby. And we have my son, Harrison, was only a year and a half older than the twins. So you could imagine.
Yeah.
My wife had to deal with 3 babies. 3 babies, because Harrison's only 1.5, and he's still in diapers when the twins came. So, and we had no one. We had no family up here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So luckily we had friends, and but no family. It was tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was rough. Yeah. And my wife,
you need a
yeah. And my wife was super strong. She was awesome. She handled it, and she took care of everything at home. I try to help out where I can, but I'm at Pixar.
Yeah.
And I guess this would lead to what you were getting at, is Float, where I eventually at 2 years old, my middle son is diagnosed with autism, and I did not handle it well. I went into a deep depression, and my wife handled it like a champ, and she was the one that said, you got to do something and get you out of this funk. Why don't you draw something? Why don't you tell a story, tell about your experiences. So I drew a cover. It was going to be a comic book. I was going to call it Alex, after my son Alex. And the images of a father and a son. The son's floating, and they're in a field of dandelions. And the tagline was, a father's journey and a special child. And that I was going to do that. I was going to do a comic book, but I was so much into my depression that I couldn't do it. I only did the cover, and so I put it away. And then I fast forward like 8 more years. I look at my son; he's getting older, and I was like, I got to tell the story. So I decided to make a storyboards out of it. And those storyboards, I showed it around to my friends at Pixar, and they were like, you should show this to Lindsay Collins, the executive producer of the Spark Shorts program. And then I did, and she thought it was perfect. And the rest is Float history. But yeah. And also the funny thing is the characters were white. They were white, and the story is at Pixar. It took a talk to one of my story manager, who is Jillian Liebert. She pulled me aside. She's like, hey, I noticed that the storyboards, the characters are white. Why is that? And I'm like, because because that's what I thought you guys wanted. And she's like, well, the story's about you and your son. You should be Filipino. And I'm like, nobody wants to see that. Because I was convinced. I got this unconscious bias that no one wants to see Filipino lead characters.
Mm.
And I never saw it. I never saw it.
Yeah.
And so, but she said, and I was like, I don't, it should be white. That's what I thought. And then she said, this was what convinced me and turned me around. She said, how is Alex going to feel when he looks up on the screen and it's a white character playing him? And that hurt. That hit me in my heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, okay, that's it. From here on out, these characters are going to be Filipino American because I want my son to know he is worth it. He is him and all the Filipino Americans, all of us Filipinos, we are worth it to be on the screen, to be the lead characters. We can be the lead characters. We have so much to offer. Our hearts, our stories. And you know what? At first I wasn't sure, but I mean, coming up to 60 million on YouTube.
Yes.
That's proof.
Yes.
That is numerical proof that our stories are worth it. But it was that. It took that to convince me because I was like, whatever. But I am so happy and proud that it happened because now the very first Filipino American CGI lead characters are up there.
Yes.
It's there forever.
Yes.
So,
oh man, that's so. I love that so much. And
yeah,
Lisa. So I thank her so much for being an ally.
Yeah. I know. I did. I've drawn her a drawing, and I was like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
I mean, Jillian knows it, and because of that, it happened. And it's one of these like little. Yeah, you're right. I mean, we need our allies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the things where you think it's just a little thing. Like I honestly didn't. I thought Float was gonna be just my friends are gonna see it. I mean, you remember Kuya P, like when you saw it, like I didn't think it was gonna be 60 million. Like what? What?
Actually,
like,
I have to be honest with you, bro, because we've hungered for this. And the fact that Pixar put that stamp behind you, if it was gonna get exposed to the world, I totally believed it would be just as big, and it's gonna grow even more, man. Because we're hungry for this.
I know
we're dying for this. So I believed in it once I saw it, man, and I'm so proud and happy for you, brother. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. I have to ask, because it's such a personal project. Once it was finally put together, how was that for the rest of your family? You know, for it to be there and out there and kind of, representing you.
They love it. I mean, they and I know a lot of people ask about what does Alex think?
Yeah, exactly.
Alex was 12 at the time. So like any typical 12-year-old kid, and you ask them what their father does, they're like, it's all right.
Yeah. I got a 13-year-old.
Yeah, I have a 10-year-old, and same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dad stuff. It's all right. And like so, I mean, I take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the rest of the family is super, super proud of it. And, and it's so awesome. I am grateful for my family and the fans and the Filipino community who came and supported the film and who showed so much love for it. It's amazing and overwhelming. So thank you, Kuya P, for being there from the very beginning. And Tina, welcome.
Was it healing for you to put yourself back into the story?
Yes, it was. It was healing. Because there are moments that I had to tell my animators and my staff of what this part meant. like the part of feeling ashamed that your son's different, the part of the getting the stares from people, and but then also, not only is there grief and pain and sorrow, but there's also victory, and there's also strength that comes when you accept. There's love, and so there's all of it. There's grief and pain, but there's also love and triumph. That's what I'm also trying to say. And I want to say that about our Filipino culture.
Yeah.
We know this. We come from lower, I came from a lower income family, but the struggle made me, and I wouldn't change that, you know? So, and the struggle continues, but being Asian during this whole AAPI situation, it's terrible. But I know I know we will pull through this. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you got me all like worked up.
Same, yo. Like, oh, man. I was thinking about like how that recording, because it's a, you know, there's no words until that the final moments, and and then when I saw that, you actually voiced, you know, you not only did you tell your story, but you also got to, unlike, you know, as animators, you don't get to get the voice role, but you actually contributed to be that voice when he finally does say something within float. I can only imagine how hard that was to be in that recording session, because as actors, you know, I'm an actor, it's we're empaths, we feel those certain roles, and with it being such a personal story, how was it to record that?
It was rough. We did like, I want to say 100 takes. It was ridiculous, because like that my producer, Chrissy Kababa, who's also Pinay, Chrissy Kababa was there along with my editor and my animation lead. My editor is Greg Amundsen, and my animation lead is James Brown. And those three were like pushing me to go further, because I kept on saying, I was keeping it kind of, why can't you just, you know, like but I believe it was Greg. It was great. And he's right. The subtext of that scene is not, why can't you be normal, but why can't I be normal? Mm-hmm. Why is this happening to me, Lord? Why me? Why can't I be normal? That is what I'm screaming. I'm not screaming at Alex. I'm screaming, why can't I be normal, at the Lord, and so that's when you hear that. It's like, all that rage, all that is there. And it's not pointed at Alex, it's pointed at me. Yeah.
So beautiful, man. It was so well done. Salamat po, maraming salamat for just giving that part of you to the world, and just sharing and inspiring all of us. You know, there's so I'm sure, so the aftermath and the Pix noise, we had something to be proud of in a way. I'm sure this kind of sure changed things a little bit around there, that we had like this representation finally at Pixar. Let's move forward from there, and story wise, and how Neighborhood Legend came together, as much as you can tell, because I know you don't want to give it all away, but I'm dying for it.
Thank you. Thank you. Neighborhood Legend is my own personal project. It's not Pixar. And I was supposed to do it before Float. I wanted to create a Filipino superhero, and using our martial art form.
Yes.
Because I want to reclaim it, because it's like, I think it's funny. It's everywhere. It's Nightwing, it's Black Widow, it's Daredevil. But wait a minute, can't we have a Filipino or Pinay hold those sticks?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to reclaim it. It's ours. It's ours. And so I'm creating this superhero comic book, Neighborhood Legend. And it's about, I guess what I could say is it's about a kid when I mean he's college. he gets these Eskrima sticks, and they are enchanted Eskrima sticks. And they have on it the Baba Yin, the writing.
Yeah.
On the sticks is strength and beauty, because you need strength and beauty to do Eskrima.
Yes.
And so this kid gets them, and he inherits this power, and it's called Neighborhood Legend because I'm setting it in San Diego, the neighborhood. So I want us to see us, and I want us to see something authentic, and it's gonna have things that we were talking about. That kid, his name's Danny Reyes. He's going to go through what we're going through. He's going to be Filipino, searching for his identity. Him struggling being an American, Filipino American. Him having aunties and uncles saying, you're not Filipino enough. Him wondering, should I pick up these sticks and represent this symbol?
Yes.
Am I worthy to wear this? So he's going to have those struggles. And I want that in this book. And I'm thinking of possibly, I got to get it done first. I got to get the story done. But, people are saying I should crowdfund it, and I might. And then I'm going to reach out to you and everybody.
Definitely. You got me.
But yeah, that is the side story. That's the stuff that I want to do, and I want to do it right. And in order to do it right, I feel that I have to do it. Like I don't want it to be under something like another company to have it. I don't want them to have it just yet. I want to have it.
Yes.
So it's done just right.
Oh, that was something that I think Diane Paragas said. She's like, if we don't tell our stories,
right,
someone else is going to tell our stories.
Right. And somebody else is going to dictate it and tell you how to edit it and how to do it. And like, can you add this? And you're like, no, that's not what I want. So yeah, Diane's right. And Diane's amazing too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, definitely looking forward to that, man. Again, you got me. I'm all day, every day. I'm gonna hype that up. And I gotta say too, man, your personal stories that you do on your Instagram and all your socials that you post up of just your growing up, just your life that you kind of put up. Like, I want that as a comic book. It's so entertaining.
Oh, thank you.
Can we collect all of that and put that into something? Because that's the Filipino American story.
Yeah. It's funny because like I called that the secret origin of Barry Presh.
Oh,
because Barry Presh is my pen name, my avatar.
Yeah.
So I go by Barry Presh.
And I meant to ask you about that too. How did Barry Presh come about? And also your trips to home sometimes to San Diego. And I love it. You to get the power to be the great artist that you are. You had to return to your homeland, your origin story to get the power from the waters. It's so amazing. And it's so nerdy. It's so, I love it. I absolutely love it, brother.
Thank you. Barry Presh I got from my uncle. Because like I think one time I was doing something and he was like, so you think you're Barry Presh now, huh? So like, yeah, I am Barry Presh.
That's great. Oh my God.
So I know, right? You get something from it's a throwaway that my uncle, but it's not. I am Barry Presh.
That's a great segue into our final question.
Okay.
Which we always like to ask because we're the nerds of color.
Okay.
What is the one subject that you're just crazy nerdy about that you could give a TED talk about that you just
one subject?
No doubt nerd all out.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be the traditional, nerd pop culture stuff. It could be like we had my friend Rodney Salinas on. He's all about politics. Like he can break down all of that. Or I had another friend that could do tax law, which is crazy,
I guess it would be how to ride your bike to the nearest comic book store. And it'd be something about comics. It'd be about the new Teen Titans or San Diego, something about that.
Okay.
Growing up in San Diego in the 80s. I don't know.
Comic scene in San Diego.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's it like? The comic. Yeah. So I could do a TED Talk on that for sure.
Get the tickets. I would assume, because I know I have family in San Diego as well, and they're like, I can't ever get tickets. How do we get tickets? You know, to it.
And we go to Comic-Con.
You know? I know. Now I'm like I don't have a booth anymore, so I'm gonna have to do that too. I'm gonna have to be like somehow get a Comic-Con pass. We'll see.
Yeah.
San Diego Comic-Con was an experience. I used to go to New York Comic-Con every year, and I went to San Diego once, and I was like,
yeah, I know. Welcome to San Diego. And that's why I love the con. It's like, man, but it's grown. It's so huge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I remember it was just in like a hotel in downtown, and it was just a room full of comic books, old comic books, and comic artists. Mm-hmm. That's it. There was no movie entertainment. And so
now they're burning Viking ships in the harbor, and
I know
on shows and stuff.
Which is cool. It's cool. It's very cool. I love it that now the whole family can go, and now it's a big, huge event. So yeah, and it's synonymous with San Diego now. The Comic-Con. You're like, San Diego Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. So can't wait. It's in October, right? They said.
Yeah, they pushed it. You know, with everything happening, I think they're going to try and make it happen in October this year, and then go back regular. So yeah, amazing stuff, man. Bobby, thank you again for everything you've done for our community with Float and with what I'm sure you're going to do with Neighborhood Legend.
Thank you.
Just representing for us and our people, and just being such a great guy, man.
Right.
How can new fans, if they're new fans, I'm sure they're already fans, but if they want to follow you on the socials, what are some of your socials that I can throw up on the screen? And it's also going to be in the description below, people.
Okay. Instagram is Bobby Rubio. Twitter is Bobby, I think, _Rubio at Twitter. I'm at Art of Bobby Rubio at Facebook, and I'm on LinkedIn. Gotta get that business side in
business
there.
Side out, because you got to be perfect. Yeah. Who knows what's gonna happen with Pixar? Nothing's gonna happen to Pixar. Pixar is gonna be golden. Yeah, I love it, Bobby. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much, and thank you for having this for our community and people of color. Thank you for representing for us.
Maraming salamat.
To say that, but I would mess it up.
Boom, there you go, Mr. Bobby Rubio, Pixnoy legend, neighborhood legend, Mr. Float. So much fun. How about you, Tina?
Oh man, that was good. That one got me.
I started to feel it. I was like, hold up, let me, because we got to keep it moving, because then if we go, then we're gonna go, you know?
Right. That was me. I was like, oh. Like, oh man, like that float was, you know, such like a tearjerker itself, and the personal story behind it, and him kind of like, I thought it was so great hearing that it's like it was his wife that was like, tell the story, like it's bothering you, tell the story. And then for him to have like made the characters white, as like, I saw that as like a way that he distanced himself from it. Mm-hmm. And then that journey of then putting himself back into it, that was just it's beautiful. Yeah. And it's so important, you know, we've mentioned it a couple times, that if we don't tell our stories, other people will, or they'll tell us how to tell our stories. And we're not doing that. Not with the great year that Filipinos had in 2020, with everything that came out, and just us marching forward with all of the Asian representation coming in media. And I'm really excited for it all. And it was really refreshing to kind of hear that background to that story, and to hear Bobby Rubio's story and how he went into Pixar and had the Pixnoy community already there, and how he was saying that his mission is to show people it's like, hey, Filipinos, we're not just mailmen and nurses, like everywhere, and we really are. And I think we've seen that here on the ShoPowSho. Like, we're everywhere and we're doing everything, and you can too. So
excellent. Exactly. I love it. And shout out, because so to be so very lucky, you know, like you said, telling these stories, but if we can't get it to make it happen, like you were saying, the characters were originally white, but we had that ally. So shout out to our allies. You know, we're as you know, we definitely rep our culture, but for our allies that are watching to help speak up for us when we don't have that position of power, and like, yes, tell your story. That's amazing. You know,
so that is a really good example of that.
Yeah.
And of how you can be an ally for the community, and how he was like, well, nobody wants to see a Filipino character. Like, no, they do. And we do. And so, yeah, good knock on that.
Yeah. And also I want to shout out the parents, man, because, you know, the parents believed in him and he did his thing. Although you got to do it close to home. That was Filipino.
So Filipino. All right. Go to art school. You're talented, but go close to home. So Filipino mom, keep the sons close to home.
Yes. So
I love it.
So amazing and so talented. Salamat po, Bobby. If you're watching this back, we truly appreciate you coming on and sharing your story and giving your story to the world and inspiring everyone, all of us, with that story. Salamat po, maraming salamat, brother. Kuya. All right, Tina. Let's tell them how they can reach out to us, and if there's anybody they'd like us to see bring on as well and tell their stories. We want to do it, man. That's what this show is for, to help give that voice. So Tina, how can they reach out to you?
Well, first off, follow ShoPowSho on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We also have Patreon for extras, behind the scenes, extra segments, things like that. You can also buy us a coffee on coffee.com. I'm Viva Valentina. You can find me at viva.valentina on Instagram and TikTok, or Viva Valentina XO on Twitter and chess.com.
Yes. Much love to my girl Tina, and also much love to Kataphorric. We miss you. Make sure you follow Kataphorric on all the things. It's Kataphorric on everything too, right?
Yep.
For Kat. Yes. Her information as well as Tina's, everything is in the description, y'all. So for our audio listeners, you have that benefit to hear us from this. But yes, if you're also watching us, it'll be in the description. So if you missed it, there you go. We can't thank you enough for supporting us. I am Kuya P. You can follow me at Strange Since 1977, as well as at Temple Far East, here at the ShoPowSho, as Tina stated, and our home site of the Nerds of Color, and that's at the Nerds of Color on everything, as well as at the NRW and at New Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. This has been another ShoPowSho with the amazing Ates, Tina, and your boy Kuya P. Salamat po, maraming salamat. We're out of here.
Mahal kita.
Oh yeah, mahal kita. Yeah, can't forget. We love y'all. Mahal kita. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all.
Hi, I'm Bobby Rubio. I'm the writer and director of the short Float and the creator of Neighborhood Legend. come and see me on the ShoPowSho, and I'll see you there. All right, bye. Hi, I'm Bobby Rubio. I'm the writer and director of the Pixar Spark Short Float and the creator of Neighborhood Legend. And what does my Filipino heritage means to me? It means love, it means endurance, and a rich history and culture that has yet to be mined and told out there. And I feel like it's time that we tell our stories. And I can't wait to see all the Filipinx creatives come out and tell our stories. And thanks for having me.